Marina,
YouTube.
the other candidate's having a little trouble logging in, but they should be here shortly.
Oh, thanks, Justin. Why don't you let us know when they're there?
All four Washington County commissioners, as expected. Commissioner Willie will not be joining us.
Thank you, Chair Harrington.
All right. Well, I'm here if you need anything else, Marina, but I'll be off camera and it's your show.
Thank you. And it looks like Mr. DiNapoli is online too.
Okay, great. We'll go ahead and get started then. All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. And welcome to the House District 33 appointment. Today, we are joined by the Multnomah County Board and the Washington County Board. Commissioner Jerry Willie is excused today, and Commissioner Lori Stegman will be joining a little late. This is the time and place designated by the Secretary of State, the Multnomah County Board of Commissioners, and the Washington County Board of Commissioners to fill a vacancy in the Oregon House of Representatives, District 33. I want to welcome Chair Harrington and the Washington County Commissioners. Chair Harrington, would you like to make any opening comments today?
I think we need to identify that myself, Chair Catherine Harrington, Washington County Vice Chair, District 2, District 1 Commissioner Nafisa Fai, District 2 Commissioner Pam Trees, and District 3 Commissioner Roy Rogers are participating, present and participating. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Harrington. And on the Multnomah County side, we have Multnomah County Commissioner for District 1, Sharon Myron. We have from District 2, Commissioner Jesse Beeson, District 3, Commissioner Julia Broom Edwards, and then from District 4, we have Commissioner Lori Stegman. All right, so we had the Secretary of State's office inform us that given the Democratic Party of Oregon has only nominated one candidate, which is unusual. Normally they need to provide 3 candidates to the Board of Commissioners. The board is free to consider candidates other than those nominated by the party. Given that only one candidate has been nominated, we have invited all candidates who expressed interest in being nominated for this seat. They include Shannon Jones Isidore and Michael DiNapoli. First, before we get started with the proceedings of hearing from the candidates, we are going to have an opportunity for public comment. That will be followed by a question and answer session with the nominees. And then we will conclude with a vote to fill the vacancies. So we are now able to turn over to Marina. I'll open it up for you to start the public comment period. Thank you.
Opportunity for public comment on non-agenda, public comment. This is the time for the board to hear public testimony in our board deliberation. When it is your turn to speak, I'll call your name and unmute you. I'll set a timer for 2 minutes when you begin speaking and announce when your time is up by saying time, at which point please wrap up your sentence. When you are done with your sentence, I'll place you back on mute. Chair, we received 6 public testimonies. First, we have Tom Busey. Tom, you're welcome to begin.
Bussey. I am a former fiscal analyst with the Oregon Health Authority. I'm a disaffected Democrat turned independent, and I am nominated to run for this race in 5 weeks. I feel not appointing the Democratic primary winner this late in the election is fundamentally unfair. It gives her the advantage of incumbency, and it disenfranchises the 21,000 non-affiliated and independent voters who did not express or have any opportunity to express support for who they wanted to represent them. So therefore, I am urging you to appoint a placeholder candidate for the next 5 weeks so that we can actually flush out a real debate and have a real election for this rare open seat. And a perfect placeholder I can think of who lives in the district, I believe, is Commissioner Myron, who is terming off the Multnomah board. I would like to take this opportunity to challenge Shannon to a debate. My campaign will fund over $1,000 to promote it. I suggest Lucky Lab on Northwest Quimby Street to be moderated by the League of Women Voters. And there are many things we're not talking about. I would like to talk about the need to enter an interstate nursing compact. I'd like to tell the world about my plan to fix public defense. I'm a government budget expert. And there are many other things that we don't talk about, such as the Portland Harbor Superfund site. So therefore, I do urge you to vote for appoint a placeholder. If you want to know more, here's my website, and it's also in the voter pamphlet. You can visit it right now. It has a lot of really great information about my bio and why I'm qualified. Many thanks.
Next, we have Lisa Reynolds. Lisa, you may begin whenever you're ready.
Hi there. Hi, good afternoon. Hi, my name is Lisa Reynolds, and I am a state representative. I am state representative from Oregon House District 34, which is, as we call it, the sister district to House District 33. I want to thank the commissioners from both Washington and Multnomah County for convening today on this important appointment process. And I also would like to wholeheartedly endorse the appointment of Shannon Jones Isidore to the seat left vacant in House District 33 by the I want to say retirement. What is it? The resignation of Maxine Dexter, who has ably served this district for close to 4 years. I first met Shannon Jones Isidore about 15 months ago when Representative Rob Nose and I visited her Change Clinic in Southwest Portland. I found her to be a smart, caring, roll up her sleeves, get stuff done woman. And when, and she'll tell this story, I don't mean to steal your thunder, Ms. Isidore, but when she realized that her patients at the Change Clinic needed housing, she got them housing. And I just was so impressed with the work she was doing for some of our sickest neighbors. Shannon won a very hard fight for the Democratic primary in May, and demographics are such that she is, I hate to use the word shoo-in, but she is on a very good glide path to win in November with or without this appointment. I think I think getting Shannon about 3.5 months of extra time, a little runway to serve her constituents before the start of the 2025 session will do well for everyone in House District 33. And we look forward to having her join us in the Oregon State Legislature. Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate your consideration.
Next, we have Joel Shapiro. Joel, you may begin whenever you're ready.
I'm Joel Shapiro. I appreciate the opportunity to give my enthusiastic support for Shannon Jones Isidore for the House District 33 vacancy. I'm a longtime PCP. I've worked in the legislature in Salem and served in Congress as Chief Counsel Senator Wyden. I've worked for Multnomah County as a deputy district attorney and policy advisor. So I've been involved in policymaking for most of my career. And it's very clear that Shannon Jones Isidore has the skills, the qualities, the traits necessary to be a very effective leader for our community. Shannon's my neighbor. We live just a few blocks apart. I met her through the Emerge Oregon program. I've seen her on the campaign trail, and she has done an excellent job of building support for her candidacy. Shannon has the background that we need right now as a public servant. She's been also in the private sector. She's been the founder of a clinic that provides trauma-informed care to those suffering from addiction. These are public policy issues that need our attention, and she is just simply the right person at the right time for this job. For those of us who have seen her campaigning, including the voters and the PCPs, it's very clear why Shannon is well equipped to be a state representative. She has both the leadership qualities and the interpersonal skills to build coalitions, to find solutions, and then to put in place the plans to achieve those solutions. So it is with great happiness and support that I encourage you to nominate or to appoint Shannon Jones Isidore to HD 33. Thank you.
Next, we have Eric Allen. Eric, you may begin whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon. My name is Eric Allen. I am a certified mental health and substance abuse counselor. I came to testify today just to throw my support in the ring for Miss Shannon Isidore. I've been working with Shannon about 4 years, and I work with her at her clinic. I was the first counselor there, and since from open to now, she's a leader's leader. Okay, she's one of those kind of people that she's willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that the people that she serves get what they need. And that's so important right now, you know, with the fentanyl crisis, with everything that's happening. We need leadership. We need somebody that's not afraid to take those risks, to take the necessary chances that we need in order to get what we need. So I really, really love her. I think that she is the best fit for the position, just based on how she moves, how she operates. So that's why I came here. Thank you.
Next, we have Tim Logan. Tim, you may begin whenever you're ready.
I'm here in support of the short duration appointment of Ms. Jones Isidore to District 3. I've known Shannon for the past 2.5 years. I've been 35-year resident of Portland. Meeting her reminded me of me in my young days, wanting to make change, wanting to know as much as I could about not just one stratosphere, but all the different stratospheres, as well as make the necessary effort to engage in areas of my fears. Her vast background from private
I think we can't hear you, Tim.
May have frozen.
Well, I'll just call on the next person just in case. So we have Terry Johnson next.
Okay, and if Mr. Logan comes back, we can ask him to finish.
My name is Dr. Terry Johnson. I'm Vice President for Community and Mission Integration for OSHU Adventist Health. And I just want to share in a few moments my experience with Shannon Jones Isidore. I'm in charge of helping what we call an impact, our patients that come in with a substance abuse. They're treated, and then we have to find housing for them. And one of the struggles we've encountered, especially for African Americans, and I'm a native Oregonian born at OSHU and prior military, is that we were just having a hard time trying to find housing for our people of color and also veterans. And so we were able to work with Oregon Change Clinic, and it's just been a beautiful relationship where our people of color who are struggling, who may not necessarily feel comfortable and certain of the housing provided, that every time we would call, Oregon Change Clinic would come and get our patients and bring them there. And it's just been a beautiful partnership, so much so that we've eventually made them a partner 2 years ago, where we support them and they support us. And so I just give our full 100% support to Shannon Jones Isidore.
And just checking again with Tim Logan. Tim, are you available?
Okay, Marina, maybe we can follow up and ask him if he wanted to submit written comments for the record, but I think we got the gist. I think
Great.
of his comments.
Thank you. That was all the public testimony I received.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to the next part of it. All right, so now we're moving into the the process for filling the vacancy for the Oregon House seat. I'm going to explain the procedure for the hearing, and then I will ask for a motion to adopt the procedures. So the nominees will provide opening statements proceeding alphabetically. Each nominee will have up to 3 minutes for their remarks. Commissioners will then ask 4 questions to each nominee. Nominees will have up to 3 minutes for each response. If needed, the commissioners may ask follow-up questions, and those responses will be limited to 1 minute. After the board has finished with their questions, each nominee will be given 3 minutes to provide a closing statement. The board will then deliberate until we identify one nominee with a plurality of support. Plurality means the most. Therefore, if nobody receives the most support, we will continue to deliberate and take preliminary polls. Once we identify a nominee that will receive a plurality of support, we will move on to R2, which is to take a formal vote to fill the vacancy. In accordance to ORS 171.062, and based on the number of registered electors on January 1st, 2021, each Washington County Commissioner is allotted 0.6 votes each, and Multnomah County Commissioner is allotted 9 votes each. If for any reason a county commissioner is unable to attend this meeting, that commissioner's vote will not be cast. May I have a motion to adopt these procedures?
One second, Chair. I just wanted to, Jenny Madcore, County Attorney.
Thank you.
I just wanted to verify that you mentioned that the Washington County Commissioners would get 0.6 votes and that Multnomah County will get 9 votes. I want to make sure we're clear on that.
I did say that.
Okay.
I'm sorry if that wasn't clear.
Yeah, I might have misheard it. Thank you.
0.6 votes for Washington County Commissioners each, 9 votes for Multnomah County Commissioners each. And that has to do with the geographical location of the district for folks who are listening and haven't gone through this process before. All right, thanks. All right, now may I have a motion on the procedures? Thank you. Commissioner Fye moved. May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Brim Edwards seconds. Thank you so much. Are there any questions? And if not, I will ask Marina to take a roll call vote. All right, Marina, can you go ahead and take the vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Fye? Commissioner Brim Edwards?
Yes.
Commissioner Rogers? Commissioner Rogers? Oh, I saw an eye. Commissioner Myron?
Aye.
Commissioner Treese?
Yes.
Commissioner Stegman is not here yet. Chair Harrington? Chair Vega Peterson?
Yes, the procedures are adopted. So now we will move on to opening statements. Each nominee will now provide a statement, a 3-minute opening statement. We will begin with Michael DiNapoli. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. And it's Mike DiNapoli, just to correct that, but it gets mixed up all the time. But yeah, thank you for this opportunity to be here and speak with all of you and give an opening testimony. A little bit about myself. I'm Mike DiNapoli. I'm a lifelong Portlander, born at what is now Adidas, Best Kaiser. I spent time and grew up in Washington County, raised my family there, started my career. I'm a tradesperson. I'm a utility telecom CWA apprentice and journeyman. With regulatory changes and the career path that I was on, it led me to being an IBEW low voltage electrician, which I am a licensed low voltage electrician, a licensed utility telecom engineer, and currently a small business owner here in Portland, where I live and have lived for the past couple of decades. I'm in the event industry, live events. I'm a working class Portlander that's about just problem solving and working with the community to uplift and amplify a lot of really great organizations doing a lot of the frontline work. In brief, the reason that I think I'm here and I'm putting myself up as a nominee or for this appointed position is, I fully believe that with these kinds of appointed positions, it's really important that there are options for the group to make an informed decision on. And with this appointment being open, I believe that we need good working class people stepping up to fill those places when necessary. And I would like to be considered as a good candidate to do that for our community. I live here in Goose Hollow, have for the last 8 years. Prior to that, I was in Northwest Portland in the Alphabet District. And so, for the past 15 years, I've lived right here in what is now to be District 4 and House District 33. And I've seen what the changes in Portland have led to the problems with affordability for working class people like myself and industry and service workers. And, so that's why I'm here. That's what I wanted to step up and be a part of. And I, just really love being a part of democracy building and representing our community. And, that's why I'm here, to be of consideration for all of you for this brief appointment to House District 33.
Thank you so much, and so sorry about the mispronunciation.
Oh, it's okay.
Great. Now we will have the statement from Ms. Jones Isidore.
Yes. So first, I want to thank everyone. I want to thank the chairs, the co-chairs, all of the commissioners and the public for being a part of this process here. I am Shannon Jones Isidore. I am enthused to be the Democratic nominee for House District 33. I'm born and raised right here in Portland, in Northeast Portland, in the Albina District, where a community came together to send me to college, making me the first in my family to attend at the time. I now have a double master's in family psychotherapy and counseling science. I'm a proud United States Marine Corps veteran, and I have spent over a decade as an investment advisor, helping working families to save and invest money. But Today, I am the CEO and founder of Oregon Change Clinic, where we help people who are working through substance use disorder, mental health, and in need of supportive housing. In a short amount of time, we've taken a dilapidated motel, we've turned it into 37 beds of treatment beds, and by the end of this year, we'll do another 50. So in this moment, when we are investing hundreds of millions of dollars in treatment and transitional housing, I want to continue my service to Oregon and to this country by stepping up and lending my expertise in behavioral health, finance, business to work across multiple levels of government to get stuff done.
Thank you to both the nominees. We will go ahead and go to questions from commissioners. So commissioners will ask questions. We will have one question from each of the 5 county commissioners representing House District 33 to each nominee. The nominees will have 3 minutes to respond. As a reminder, commissioners may ask follow-up questions, and those responses will be limited to 1 minute. Commissioner Myron, you are on deck to ask the first question.
Thank you so much, Chair. I'm trying to toggle between screens, so my apologies. My question is somewhat broad and very important, but what are the most pressing issues confronting our behavioral health system, and how would you address those issues?
Are we starting with who?
Yes, and thank you. I'm sorry if that wasn't clear. We're going to go ahead and we'll start with you for this question. We will alternate who goes first for each question. So so Shannon, you can go first for this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the question is about the challenges in the behavioral health systems. I would say these days, Commissioner, I would say workforce is one of the challenges in the behavioral health systems today. Since the pandemic, we've experienced a shift in workforce. The demand for staff, and particularly those who working in person, has changed. I mean, with the some of the additional street drugs with higher acuity has changed. We also are now, when before we would see people that were, you would come to treatment and substance use, then you would go to another place for mental health. Today, the level of complexity that we are seeing amongst our clients has increased. We have, most of our clients are experiencing, and in behavioral health, they're experiencing both substance use disorder, mental health, homelessness, gambling disorder, just various complexities. So finding the workforce and training the workforce to have the credentials that's needed and the training that's needed to address the complexity of and the higher acuity of the clients that we're seeing. That's one of the challenges there. And a piece of that challenge is, how do we then compensate the workforce for that expertise? So then we're talking about insurance reimbursement. We're also talking about what are the financial needs to be able to support the workforce and their credentials. I would also say another area, an issue in the behavioral health would be that we used to wait and see clients would come to our door. Now what we need to do is find a way to do more outreach and meet people where they are and get them to the right space at the right time.
Thank you. And Michael, now it is your turn to respond. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree with much of what was just said, but resources is the number one issue that's facing our behavioral health systems and our service providers. They don't have the money to get things completed. They're running on shoestring budgets in a lot of cases, and operating costs for insurance and overhead and buildings to service those that need the support that they're doing are being, the resources and the money that they have is being eaten up in a lot of overhead and not actually getting to the streets and to the people that it's needed. We need additional mental health and behavioral health and experts and people willing to do the work and to also be supported, protected, and nurtured so that they can do that work in a effective and healthy way for the time that it's needed, because this is a lifelong issue and concern for a lot of people. We lack the resources for there to be the follow-up when folks begin the process of coming from crisis to independence. They're left to do a lot on their own. And this also comes back to resources, not having enough support for the groups that are professionals that we have doing the frontline work. And we need to continue to support them with additional funding, but it's not just money, it's access to buildings. It's, I'd like to see some sort of statewide or citywide insurance pool that allows our mental health workers and organizations to not have to tap into commercial insurance groups that are by far cutting insurance opportunities for people that are, churches that are opening up their doors for night shelters. They are not able to get insured more and more. And so we need to, again, put up more resources from a state level right down to our district here. Because here at House District 33, we have a consolidation of a lot of those support services right downtown in Old Town. And so the most resistant to service support are consolidated into our downtown area, and it's exacerbating the problems in our community. And yeah, more resources.
Thank you so much to both of you for your answers. We will now go on to the second question. That question is from Commissioner Pam Treese, and we will reverse the order. And so, Michael, you will go first for this one.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to ask a question. I appreciate it, and I appreciate both of you being here today. Excuse me, my dog is barking in the background. What I would like to ask is, as you face the opportunities to address issues in the legislature, what issues do you see as potentially being unfunded mandates for the county?
Unfunded mandates. I think that we definitely need to make sure that we're putting the right kind of resources and funding into like Portland Street Response, making sure that they're fully funded, and then we can tap into federal resources in Medicare. We need people at the state legislature that are backing up our city and county leaders. And so at the state level, I would do what I can to work with our other legislators to make sure that we're pooling our resources, our power, and our expertise to bring innovative solutions to our neighborhood. What other programs that aren't being fully funded is things to find when I'm at the table and working through trying to make sure that these programs are funded.
Now we'll go over to Shannon for your answer to the second question.
Yes, will you repeat the question, please?
We face in our counties are unfunded mandates that come from the state legislature in regard to different services. And I would ask you how you would address those types of issues.
Yeah, let's see. I think I'm gonna go with I would look at seeing what is I probably just need more information on that. I must say, and I really don't want to go down a road of not answering the question directly. However,
in issues like community corrections, those types of areas.
Okay, got it. I would go with how we can talk about the meeting on the mission itself, like what's the mission of the county, what are the needs of the county. I want to always make sure that I am a partner of the in kind of a bridge to the county and a bridge to the city, so the state and the county bridge. And so I think I would go about it by really looking deeper into what needs to be funded and how we can at the state make the funding happen. It's probably the best I have today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll now move on to Commissioner Jesse Beeson for the third question. And again, we're reversing the order. So Shannon, you'll go first, and then Michael, you will go second.
Thank you, Chair. Great to meet you, Shannon and Michael. So my question builds a little bit on unfunded mandates. As you may know, Oregon's property tax system, which is state policy, and that the counties themselves cannot change, has created deep inequities in Multnomah County and jurisdictions across the state, both urban and rural. These inequities have greatly hamstrung the county's ability to generate revenue and pay for needed services. How would you work to address these issues in the legislature?
Well, it costs a lot of money to run the county. I mean, the cost of services, the cost for competitive workforce. I mean, in my district, we are looking at probably like the declining revenues in the county from downtown businesses leaving. And we can't just keep taxing people, like taxing them more. I mean, there's a city tax, there's a county tax. So Oregon's property tax system has created some of these inequities. And as a legislator, I'm looking to work with the county or counties to ensure that these services that are the mission of the county are funded appropriately. I mean, our revenue streams need to be based on the reality of 2024 and beyond. So this is an opportunity to really be a bridge between the legislative and the counties to ensure that there is money for these services.
Can I ask a follow-up? So I think in particular, the legislature has been remiss or uninterested in having a conversation about what would be necessary to change through the legislature and ultimately voters around reforming the property tax system to be more equitable and at least pay for many of these things. So when we talk about unfunded mandates, I would say that's one of the big ones. How do you see yourself taking on those kinds of thorny issues that frankly, I think the legislature generally wants to punt elsewhere?
Yeah, you know, and a part of my whole kind of platform and is to really revitalize Portland and revitalize downtown Portland. And so really looking at what it takes to make that happen. So I really want to be in a lot of conversations and collaborative on what does it take to really get some of the goals completed, which is revitalization of downtown. That's a part of it.
Okay, thank you. Mike?
Yeah, it's a multifaceted question. Property tax, I think we need to find ways to continue to have the conversation to rebuild and reorganize the way that we fund the programs that we fund through property tax. Has always been the way it's been done. I have this idea in my mind, so much of our available real estate has been consumed by commercial entities and turning a lot of our homes into investment properties. And it's really hampered first-time buyers to be able to get into Portland's homes. I know that that's not exactly, in the downtown area, we have a lot more condos, but we do have our neighborhoods like Multnomah Village and Linton, Sellwood, and the surrounding areas. But the bigger point is we need to continue to reform how we fund the programs. And I have a vision of, if we have investment properties, if we have homes being purchased for the purpose of converting into investment properties and rentals, short-term and mid-term rentals, there may be opportunity to tax those particular properties different and look at them more like a commercial tax. But we need to find ways to encourage and invite people to come back downtown and buy property and move in, and having more people living within our area is going to help that. But on a state level, it's going to have to continue to be legislative change on how we fund the programs that aren't getting their proper funding.
So quick follow-up on that, Mike. So you would only be in office probably for 3 months in the legislature. How do you move on something that big in just 3 months? And
Well,
I know what it's like to be a short timer, so this is not to say
sure.
you can't achieve something, but
I think that a lot of, most of these questions, or maybe all of them at this point, are difficult things to accomplish during a short appointment. And then really the temperature is going to be about listening to the community, bringing those issues to it. On the property tax side, one thing that I really want to see done, at least on our local level, is, developers have a loophole where we had in our inclusionary housing opportunities in the downtown area and within Portland. A lot of our new development has had a lot of tax incentives, rebates that were open to them for the promise of having inclusionary zoning. They paid large $5, $6, $7 million loophole payments, and they don't have to provide that service. So, that's something that we may be able to change and look at how what are the incentives and rebates that these developers have received, and how does that impact the money that we have to use? Thank you.
Thank you both.
Going to Chair Harrington. Chair Harrington, for your question, and again, we will switch the order. So we'll have Mike go first.
Thank you. And thank you to each of you for applying for this position. My question has to do with specifically this district. So as hopefully you know, it is a mixed district with a small portion of Washington County and then a vast majority of Multnomah County. That being said, you're being elected by the voters, well, appointed here, but ultimately elected by the voters of this district to make statewide decisions. Statewide decisions which have a different impact throughout the different areas of our state. Given that it is a mixed district, how will you go about ensuring that you're not ignoring the voices and needs of Washington County residents in House District 33?
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Harrington. You know, how can I ensure that I won't be missing or ignoring people, even though Multnomah County is the bigger portion? You know, it really comes down to I'm a person that wants to connect and communicate and learn and listen from the people that I would be representing, and the people that I support, and that's just the nature of how I operate and how I learn, listen, and make decisions, and that wouldn't be any different in this case. And you know, the fact of the matter is having two counties as a part of our district is an opportunity to bring multiple counties together. The reality is the problems that we face and the challenges that we face in the downtown area and the bigger part of this district aren't unique, and they do affect both communities, both districts, Hillsborough, Washington County, Multnomah County, and the things that happen here, you know, ripple into the whole Pacific Northwest. So even though it's an appointment or a position or representation of one spot of our whole area in our state, we really need to be considering what that ripple effect is and how we represent everyone. And so that's just me and as a person, and that's, you know, I have a commitment to making sure that all voices are heard and represented.
Thank you, Shannon.
Right. Yes. I think I would like to answer that question. So thank you so much for asking that. I think I'll draw on the fact that I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran, and truly we are about like carrying out the mission and making sure the job gets done. So there is the district, definitely, and the entire district, not just one area, but the entire district that includes the piece of Washington County, as well as this position also looks at the state too, and how we are impacting our state. So I would say that all the district, all the people are equally important.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So now I will ask my question. Again, we will switch up the order. My question is around homelessness and housing. So addressing homelessness is a top priority for Multnomah County. I know in my conversations with Chair Harrington, it is also a high priority for Washington County. The current crisis that we're seeing here in Oregon and in Washington and Multnomah counties is driven by a lack of affordable housing in our region, primarily by a lack of affordable housing in our region. What are some of your ideas that you have for addressing this issue around housing? And how will you work with the legislature and with the counties to implement your ideas and address this issue?
Yes. Okay, so yes, we need more housing and affordable housing. But we need housing at every level. I would say that housing has many layers to it, and it has its own continuum. Like there is shelter housing, supportive housing, recovery, transitional, low income. There's a whole continuum of housing, and the lack of it impacts people, families, and communities. As I mentioned. In treatment, when people did not have housing, their treatment was inconsistent. Their treatment, there was low retention. And so I would say that one of the ideas would be to look at housing alternatives. So let me give you an example. There's a treatment facility called DePaul Treatment. And DePaul Treatment has, for over probably 4 decades, it has done residential treatment in downtown Portland, right off of maybe Washington, 14th and Washington. A few years ago, DePaul moved out of the area. They moved to the east side, and they rebranded themselves. You know them probably today as Fora Health. But that building has been empty for probably going on 3 years now. So what we did, Oregon Change Clinic, we went to that building and we said, how can we take this building, revamp it, and create housing space for people? I mean, we had to get creative. We had to have the courage to do it. And we had to look at what other success models out there. So with a little bit of heavy lifting, we went ahead, and now we will be creating, by the end of this year, an additional 50 beds of housing there. This is a great idea. So partnership is where I'm going with this. This will partly be supported by the state, by Multnomah County, and it took a provider like myself to look at the needs of the people and bring that all together. Additionally, another idea, Chair, I would say would be looking at housing alternatives such as maybe like the tiny home villages. As people leave treatment and they've had housing while in treatment, where do they go from there? So there's this transitional space that needs to happen. And another housing alternative could be the tiny home villages, where it offers a sense of community. It offers some accountability. And as people are working through their employment stability and drug-free life, this can offer that kind of support. So if we're in a housing emergency, which I believe that we are, I think we need to really treat it with the urgency that it deserves and looking at alternatives.
Thank you so much, Mike. Oh, I'm sorry. We have, yep, Mike, we have time for you now. Oh, and I think you're on mute, so it looks like you're saying very important things, but I want to make sure we can hear you.
Yes, thank you. I was muted. I apologize. Shannon, thank you for what you just brought to the table there. I 100% agree that on the affordable housing side, it's bringing more to the table and having more option for people in need. Tiny homes, things of that manner are really important. I think we can be working with developers and with our policymakers to work to reduce barriers so that we can have more converted real estate in the downtown area that's empty into SROs and places that people can have a door and begin that journey toward their independence. But, on the conversation of affordable housing, it isn't all about people in crisis. There's folks like me and the people that I represent and hear and talk with often that, we cannot buy a house in Portland, even on a good income. So, there's a problem with the available real estate. Comes back to what I was saying earlier, that at a state level, I would want to legislate to our federal partners that we need Congress to step in, because so much of our available real estate across the country is being purchased by corporate entities, and many of them are outside of our country, and they're buying up real estate in every city in America, and Portland's no different. And these properties aren't being turned over from a first-time buyer that's in a home for like 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and then their family grows and they get into their second or third home or their retirement home. These homes are not available on the market. It's driving up the cost statewide and nationwide. And, you know, we're going to need intervention, I think, at a federal level to change some of that. But that's, you know, that's one area of what needs to be focused on. On our affordable housing here in the district, the loophole that developers had to buy their way out of having inclusionary zoning is wrong. And we need to be on a state level urging our local leaders to make sure that they're making decisions that don't rob the people of Portland the opportunity to have affordable housing options and rental options. So I want to see us doing everything we can to support those in need with transitional housing and public housing, but we also need to do what we can to make sure that working class individuals have the opportunity to even buy homes in Portland as they grow and their careers evolve.
Thank you so much, both of you, for all of your answers to the questions. So as I stated in the beginning, we have the questions posed by all of the commissioners that whose county districts overlap with the House district to ask questions, but I do want to open it up to see if there are any questions from any of the other Washington or Multnomah County commissioners that you wanted to ask.
Commissioners Fine, Commissioner Rogers, you get a vote here, so please feel free to answer a question, to ask a question.
Ready?
Thanks, Commissioner Rogers, go ahead.
Thank you, Jessica. To both of you, I just so that you know a little bit about me, I was born and raised in Portland. I went to what now is called McDaniels. It was Madison back in the day. My mother went to Jefferson High School and my father went to Park Rose, as did Pam Treese. Not at the same time, of course, but she went there as well. So I'm pretty familiar with Multnomah County, City of Portland, and went to Portland State. That's where I obtained my degree. I just got back from Eastern Europe, and one of the things that I noticed that intrigued me was that they settle their differences there very differently than we do here. It's a shame. They tend not to sometimes listen to each other very well. One of the concerns I have, no matter what political stripe you might be, how you describe yourself, is that there's great division in the country, great division in the state, and it's rural and more urban. It's you know, various political parties, it's various segments. What would you do if you are in the legislature and representing not just Multnomah County, but our county as well, to try to find some common ground to bring the tone down a bit so that folks are talking once again to each other and trying to find useful compromises instead of perpetual arguing and positioning? That's my question.
Thank you. And just as before, we are going to go ahead and switch. So Mike, we'll start with you and then we'll move to Shannon.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Rogers. That, you know, that's a really important question, because bringing the temperature down on divisive politics is really, really important. And it really is what sparked me at this time in my life wanting to be involved at this level of being an elected official and a leader for our community, because there is a lot of polarizing discussions. What I tend to do in my approach to that kind of these dynamics is, you know, we really need to find common ground. We need to start, you know, there's so much that folks don't agree with. And these are big things that need time to address. And we need to focus in on some of these more polarizing issues, but we need to start with the things that we do agree on, find common ground, because there is so much, even in these polarizing discussions, that we do have common ground on. So starting with what we can do, the things that we can fix, and begin building from there. Never being afraid to have a conversation with someone that may strongly disagree with me or with any of us is also part of it. You know, I think too many people are ready to shut down a conversation when it gets sticky. and we need to find ways to continue to bridge those conversations. And that is what I do and how I approach my life and decision making and the people around me.
Thank you so much. Shannon.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and thank you so much, Commissioner, for the question. I would say, like, every day in this work, just in being a leader, I mean, that's part of the beauty and the challenge of leadership, is working with a variety of people with different backgrounds and different perspectives, but ultimately we tend to have a lot of the same goal in mind. So figuring out what our goal is together and seeing what are the step-by-steps it takes to reach those goals. I would also say, oftentimes, if we look at it, we tend to have a lot of shared values, and I would say leaning on what our shared values are, and just flat out collaborating with each other to hit the goals.
Thank you both. Are there any other commissioners who have a question for either of our nominees? All right, well, I want to thank both of you for your participation in this process. We are going to move now to closing statements. So we'll reverse the order for the opening statement. So we will start with Shannon and then we'll move to Michael. And then we will move on to deliberation. So Shannon, you have 3 minutes for your closing statement.
Absolutely, thank you. I think I'd like to start out with, I believe in Portland. I mean, this is the place that raised me. There's a saying in the recovery community that recovery is possible, but you have to step up, and it takes courage. So I also believe that that applies to our region, our city, and especially our district. I knew it was time to step up and serve again when the issues that I've dedicated my life to working on, with accountability, structure, and integrity, are the issues that are of our state and our district today: mental health, addiction, and housing. I've seen people recover. I've seen people heal. I know what's possible. And just like I was taught in the military, I want to apply this to the city of Portland, and that is no one left behind. And I'm going to even say, and no Washington County left behind. In the district, in the Democratic nominating process for House District 33, I'm proud to have won the overwhelming support of the precinct committee people, the PCPs at Lincoln High School last week. I must say that that was the last time that I was at Lincoln since I was a student there. So it was truly a memorable homecoming. So glad to also have the endorsement of Dr. Dexter, who has served this district and will very likely be the next Congresswoman from Multnomah County. And with Dr. Dexter's, I guess we say, retirement from the seat, this moment has called for me to step up early, and I'm ready to serve. And I hope you give me this opportunity. And I thank you so much for your consideration.
Thank you so much. Mike?
Yes, yeah. Thank you all for the opportunity to listen and answer your questions and get to present myself as an option as a candidate to fill this position for House District 33. Just as a person who's been in the trades, has been in live events, the thing that I love about the work that I do and have done is the community and the many, many people that come together to do, any of our favorite television shows, radio shows, commercial content. It's hundreds of people behind the scenes bringing what needs to be done together for us to enjoy those moments. And leadership in a city, in a county, in a state, at the federal level is no different. It's an army of folks that come together, hopefully toward positive goals that really benefit the people. And in this case, I love the Rose City. I believe in Portland. It's home for me. It's home for many of us. It's home for all of us. But I really want to bring who I am and what I've done to the table to help us problem solve and bring good solutions to the challenges that face our community, but also showing the folks that I talk to in our community and my neighbors that it's us stepping up and getting involved that is what's going to create a positive community for all of us. It's easy to have opinions, sit on the sidelines, talk about it, post about it, share about it, but we need people to step up and take the call and be here and show up to vote, to lead, to legislate for the greater community. And in this case, for this appointment to House District 33, my neighborhood, my home, my place that I live, I just want to be an option for you to consider for this brief appointment. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, both of you, for moving forward with this process. We'll now move on to deliberation. So each commissioner will be given time to make statements. This is not this is not where we vote. We are going to have a separate vote, but this is time to, I think, share thoughts, to share feelings. If you want to share how you're going to vote, you can do it during this point. But we are going to have a separate roll call vote alphabetically after this deliberation process. So this will also be in alphabetical order by last name. So Commissioner Beeson, I am starting with you.
I've never been involved in an appointment process, so I don't know what I'm riffing on, but I will riff. It feels like we got some pretty clear direction from the county parties that they have a preferred candidate, and that candidate is potentially the presumptive legislative representative-elect come November. That's a very strong weight for me. I also recognize and appreciate both Mike and Tom Bussey making some good arguments, but I also am not sure that we're in the place to really have that bigger conversation because I don't think that structurally we've been set up for that. I do think I know what it's like to try to figure out what's best for a district when you feel like you're caught between a bunch of different tension points. But I also think the opportunity for the presumptive legislative representative-elect to have more months getting up to speed is probably a better thing for district residents. And I also recognize that in both Mike and Shannon, we have people that are also actively campaigning. So they both will also have competing priorities. So those are where my thoughts are right now. And I appreciate the chance to say them all out loud. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Commissioner Fye.
Thank you, Chair. Shannon and Mike, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and your experience and your desire to represent your district. I really enjoyed hearing both of you and the answers to the questions that you've got. I do share that those were really hard questions that you were asked, just sitting on this other side, and I really appreciated the in-depth conversations that we've had here to those questions. I share the same remarks that Commissioner Beeson shared. I think the party sent a really clear message of who that representative or that who should be appointed for that district. But I still really appreciate you, Mike, for stepping up and expressing the desire to represent, but also sharing your resume as well. I'm really excited, and I've been excited for Shannon's candidacy the day she entered to run for this seat to represent that district, and have been really paying attention to her campaign and some of the message and how she's really going to facilitate liberty and prosperity for that district and really bring a inclusive representation for that district. So I'm really excited for your candidacy and the opportunity for you to become an elected for that district, Shannon. I will be supporting for you to be appointed for this appointment today. And I really look forward to, and I really appreciate the part you said about Washington County, and especially including us. I really do think that consider hard one of your strategic pathways to facilitate transparency and accessibility to your office, that it really deeply is involved in Washington County, and that you really do mean that you don't leave any Washington County residents in your district or not in your district left behind or left out in your engagement and some of the movements and some of the goals that you're going to push forward for that district. And I really look forward to just your representation in Salem. While I'm in deep Washington County in Aloha, and but I still look forward to collaborating and really having a meaningful conversations about and I sense the deep excitement in your voice when you really talk about homelessness, mental health issues, some of the unfunded mandates that really hurt us. And I heard you loud and clear about the answer around property taxes and the impacts and some of the inequities that exist in Multnomah County, and how we can really have a robust conversations about what can we do to facilitate our reform efforts around property taxes, the entire counties, maybe the entire state, but definitely starting with the Tri-County. So look forward to your representation, Shannon, and thank you, Mike, for participating in this.
Thank you so much. And now we'll go back to Multnomah County, and we'll move on to Commissioner Verm Edwards.
I want to start by thanking both Shannon and Mike for your interest in serving this position. Prior today, I appreciated having the opportunity to get to know both of you better, to hear about your motivations for seeking the appointment, what your priorities are, if you were appointed to the vacancy. Mike, I appreciate your previous community service and the stated reason why you filed for the appointment, that it wasn't contrary to the other candidate at all, but rather to give commissioners a choice, and that also you would bring a different viewpoint, a viewpoint of an experienced tradesperson and a lifetime of living, working, raising a family in both Multnomah and Washington County. Shannon, when I heard you speak to your priorities and your professional experience, I believe you are going to be an excellent match for the district, and you'll be ready to go to work on the biggest challenges facing our community, including homelessness, housing, mental health, and addiction issues, which I think will be invaluable for the district and the region and the state. Given the Democratic makeup of the district, I believe you also will most likely be the elected state representative. And having been in Salem and worked with the legislature, I know that getting a running start this fall will give you an advantage versus showing up at the beginning of next year and then getting your sort of running start then. I think that will be an advantage to District 33 voters and constituents to have a representative who's ready to go and also has committed to work in partnership with Multnomah and Washington County as you start. Also want to say just your background as a veteran, an Oregon public school graduate, go PPS and cards. And as a small business owner, you'll have some really important insights to share with your colleagues. I want to just my last comment speak to just being a small business owner who's made a commitment to the central city and soon downtown. I think your viewpoint in Salem is going to be invaluable and unique. We all know that the health of the state is linked to the health of downtown and to the Portland region. So I know that you're going to contribute in a very, assuming you have the appointment and as a legislator, a very unique vantage point that you can both bust some myths about downtown, but also share the needs and challenges and what the state can do to be helpful to the region. So thank you both for stepping up. And I'm very appreciative because public service is service, and it takes a lot to step into the ring.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Rogers. Commissioner Rogers, it looks like you're on mute. Okay, there we
Thank you. Sometimes those mice won't cooperate really well. I don't know whether to smack it or decon it, but anyway, it's working now. Yeah, thanks to both of you. Michael, I'll start with you. Thank you for participating. I thought your answers were very good. Shannon, this is a learning experience. I have to tell you, I've done about, I don't even remember, since I've been on the county board, probably 20 of these or better, 25. And I thought that Mike's answers were a little more crisp, a little more to the point. So I just offered that to you as a suggestion. I'm a little bit torn because I'd like somebody in the trades to be at the state legislative level, but like others that I've heard, I think it's important that we honor the wishes of those who have put the nominees forward. I will say, and I said this probably 15, 20 years ago on another nominee, happened to be a Republican nominee in Washington County. I was very disappointed in that party, and I can tell you I'm very disappointed that the Democratic Party did the same doggone thing, and that's only advanced one name. I think it's important that we have the opportunity to have a couple of names. Not that I wouldn't have come to the same conclusion. I'll be voting for Shannon simply because I respect the will of the majority, but I think it's important that more than one name be advanced. So thank you to both. I think you did a good job. It's always hard to have these beauty contests, so to speak, and answer questions that you're not prepared to answer sometimes.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Commissioner Myron.
So thank you both, Shannon and Mike. I know it's not easy to run for office, whether it's on a ballot or via an appointment process like this one. It's hard to put yourself out there, and it is a strange process, this appointment thing, to be sort of answering questions in this way, and it just so meaningful that you're willing to step up and do this. I also want to thank everyone who provided public comment today, people who weighed in via email or phone call or regular mail. It's really important to hear from community, and your voice and your opinion matters, and it goes into the decision-making process. We've now done quite a number of these appointments as commissioners, and I always I think about the appointment and considering who to support in the appointment. I think about a few different things. So I think about the role of state legislator. I think about the work that candidates have done in the past and are currently doing, and how this ties into the work of the at the state legislative level. I think about the organizations candidates have worked with, the causes they have represented, and who will be able to effectively advocate for the policies we need in healthcare, particularly behavioral health, education, and the environment. I also strongly consider when it's when it's depending on the timing, the will of voters, if there's a primary, and excuse me, the will of committee members putting names forward. And I really want to honor that, as a lot of fellow commissioners have said here tonight. So it's going into the mix. And Mike, I just appreciate your putting yourself out here and speaking to us. I really appreciate your experience, and feel that your community service, coupled with that, makes you very qualified to serve in the legislature. You made some excellent points today, and I really appreciate it. And when I put all of the pieces together, sort of as I described, I will be supporting Shannon today for this appointment, because it's about what we need at this moment in time for the crises we are facing in our community. And I feel Shannon is exactly what we need. Shannon, you don't just talk the talk, you walk the walk in so many ways. You have incredible experience on the front line in the most crucial issues facing the state and the county. But it's frontline experience plus. You have been an innovator and a leader, and I've seen this very up close and personal. I got to know you when we both participated in, I think it was a televised forum on Measure 110, and you just shone and clearly so understood so many aspects of this really difficult issue, and put these pieces together. And I was honored to have you sit on the group I convened around substance use disorder services, and what you contributed with this group of providers, people with lived experience, advocates, to say, what will it take to create a continuum? What is the continuum? Where are our priority investments? How can we act? And you got it. You were both a listener and a leader, and just demonstrated both this understanding of systems and such understanding of people, and having that compassion. And it was clear you knew this stuff and cared deeply, and could make a difference. Your presentation before our board was exceptional. And I also want to underscore, you're a Marine. Your experience as a veteran is so invaluable, and it's needed at the legislature as we strive to serve those who have served our country. So I really, really just think you're the whole package. And I'd written in my talking points, I sort of am going off script, of course, but I did have in my talking points that you are a perfect bridge between state and county, because you do that work. Again, like the county, sort of that frontline element that we put the policies of the state into action, and you are that bridge. And I wrote it before you said it. So you are exactly what we need at this moment in time for what we're doing. I only wish that I was not leaving the board at the end of this year, so I would have a chance to serve with you longer. But I will be casting my vote for you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Myron. Commissioner Treese.
Thank you, Chair Peterson. I fully respect and honor all of the comments that my fellow commissioners have made today, so this will be fairly short. Mike, I want to say thank you very much for your participation in this. And the message I'd like to send to you is, I hope this isn't the last time all of us see you. And I hope it isn't the last time that you put yourself out there. So I see you nodding, and I appreciate that. So with that said, I too support the Democratic nomination, and I too believe that Shannon will bring to the table the expertise and the skills that match the people that she will be serving in her district and throughout the state. So with that, I will be casting my vote for Shannon. Mike, I'll see you soon. And thank you very much for the opportunity to be a part of this process. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Stegman? Marina, is Commissioner Stegman available? I thought she had joined.
Online, but let me see if I can request to unmute her.
Yeah, it looks like she's on mute right now.
Yeah. I sent a request, but I'm unable to unmute on my end.
Okay.
Hello.
And there we go.
Chair, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thanks, Commissioner.
Thank you so much. Apologies for the technical difficulties. I'll keep my statement relatively short. So we all know that decisions made by the legislature, especially in the upcoming long session, stand to greatly impact all of our counties. And for that reason, I believe that it's incredibly important to create as much stability as possible for our communities. And that includes making sure a new legislator has the opportunity to be involved now and not miss opportunities to introduce legislative concepts. I really appreciated hearing from both candidates, and I'm really impressed with their work in House District 33 and their willingness to serve at the state level. Mike, thank you so much for giving us a choice. I really appreciate you throwing your hat in the ring. And I just want to thank you both for what you will bring. And as has been said, Mike, I hope that we will see more of you, and perhaps we will. But at this juncture, I will be casting my vote for Shannon Jones Isidore.
Thank you, Commissioner Stegman. Chair Harrington, it is time for your comments.
Chair Vega Peterson, including for chairing this meeting. To our applicants, Mr. DiNapoli and Ms. Jones Isidore, thank you very much for pursuing this opportunity and for making time for this meeting today. I appreciate the process that we must follow from the Secretary of State, which originally put the roster in the hands of the Democratic Party, but we have heard back from the Secretary of State on September 19th that since the party only advanced one nominee, we no longer were provided with a choice. Therefore, the Oregon State Secretary of State's election division no longer considered or felt that no longer was there a list for us to consider. And instead, we've had a process where you have provided your applications and participated in the process today, which is a brave thing. Thank you for doing so. I really appreciate it. So I will be casting my vote for Ms. Shannon Jones Isidore with a request of you, and that is to please take a look at the district map because it does include voters here in Washington County. You will be hearing a lot from counties. We are instruments of the state. We are required to provide certain services, and we have too many totally unfunded mandates, let alone partially funded mandates. And it's incumbent upon you to accept our multiple invitations to learn more about us and what we do. We do want you to be successful in serving at the legislature for House District 33, and we are willing to invest time and energy to help you do so. but please don't ignore the fact that unlike some of your other colleagues, you have a district that crosses counties, and there are a lot of House district representatives that are in that boat. So we're here to help you. So thank you again. I know you've got a lot to do between now and the November election and in the interim. So thank you very much, Chair Vega Peterson.
Thank you, Chair Harrington. I appreciate Washington doing this process with Washington County and the work of all your staff as well to help make sure this happened. I really appreciate that each of the candidates have stepped forward at this time to represent House District 33. I really appreciated hearing from both of you today. I think, it is this process. I appreciated Commissioner Rogers calling it a beauty pageant. There's all these questions that come from, I know from having served in the legislature, a lot of times people are able to focus on just a few key areas and really develop the expertise in that. But I hope that this was a little bit of a glimpse of, the wide variety of issues that do come before the state legislature, and also like what the interests are of the counties and from the county perspective. And that's one thing that I think is important. There's so much that the state funds or starts or develops. Hopefully even initiatives that will come from the House District 33 representative, but it's the counties oftentimes who are implementing that. And so that relationship of understanding our role and our jobs is really key, I think, to the success of the work that the state wants to see done and that the legislature wants to see done. So I want to thank you both, Mike and Shannon, for stepping forward at this time, for all of your care for your community. Your interest in holding office at this time, which is, for all of us who are here on this call know is a very tumultuous time, both nationally and locally. It's really a showing of your service and commitment to this place that we call home. I also appreciate Commissioner Rogers' comments about the fact that, normally we have 3 candidates that were nominated by the Democratic PCPs or the Republican PCPs, depending on what party the retiring or resigning legislator comes from. The fact that we didn't this time, I don't like that. Like, I think that is like part of the work that they do and an important part of the process. And we did try to represent the best that we could in setting up our process to reflect the democratic process, to reflect the desires of the people who wanted to represent the district and try to have a fair and open process. But I would encourage the PCPs who are responsible for bringing forward folks in the future to please abide by the minimum that the Secretary of State's office asks you to do. So I will say that one of the things that is important for me is who is brought forward by the PCPs. I think another thing is just the interest in holding this specific position. And Mike, I appreciate that your political aspirations might lie more strongly in a different direction than the state representative, but I appreciate your service overall. But Shannon, you did step forward to run for this position. You were the choice of the voters in this in the primary, and so I have no hesitation in knowing you, in knowing your work, and in knowing what you're going to bring to this next role, and supporting you for this position. So I appreciate that. Now I am prepared to cast my vote, and we have heard from everyone. So we are going to go ahead and move on to the roll call vote. We do have in our scripts that we take a preliminary poll and deliberate to see if there is a plurality. I think everyone who spoke about their intention of who they were going to support, and it is clear there is a plurality. So Jenny, I'm going to say, do we need to have that preliminary vote, or can we move to the official vote?
Chair, from my perspective, we have in some sense had the preliminary vote, but I would defer to you as the presiding officer here to elicit any objections from others on either board and then move forward if they're not objections.
Right. Chair Harrington, do you have any objections to going to a vote, or any of the other commissioners?
No, I think it makes sense to go ahead with a motion to appoint Shannon Jones Isidore.
All right. I appreciate that. And I am seeing some nods from folks that we can go ahead with that. So we'll move forward with that. Can I have a motion, or Chair Harrington, was that your motion to go ahead and appoint Shannon
I'm
Jones?
happy to use all the words. May
Yes.
I make a motion to appoint Shannon Jones Isidore to fill the vacancy in the Legislative Assembly, Oregon House District 33 seat?
Thank you, Chair. And Commissioner Myron, thank you so much for your second. We will now have our board clerk take a roll call vote.
Yes.
Commissioner Fye? Commissioner Brem Edwards?
Yes.
Commissioner Rogers? Commissioner Myron?
Aye.
Commissioner Treese?
Yes.
Commissioner Stegman? Chair Harrington?
Yes.
Chair Vega Peterson?
The motion carries and the resolution is adopted. Congratulations. Represent, yes, it was so wonderful. So now we are, congratulations, Shannon, congratulations. And I was trying to think, it's representative, not elect, but it's representative. There's a certain title. Yeah, it's a special one, but you have your special title now, which is fantastic.
Yes, have to get the official title, but yes.
So you are now invited to make remarks if you so choose. You have up to 2 minutes as the newly appointed, I think, representative for District 33.
Absolutely outstanding. So I want to thank Denopoli. Thank you so much for showing up here. And as everyone said, absolutely getting into the ring. And thank you, everyone here, chair, co-chairs, and all the commissioners, Multnomah and Washington County. And just so you know, Washington, I knock doors in Washington County. So yes, absolutely. That is my district too. So, but just thank everyone. I truly thank you. I will do my very best during this time as being appointed, as well as I believe that I will be elected in the end of the year. So I just want to thank everyone, and I appreciate it in this process. Amazing times. I'll never forget the summer of 2024. Yes, amazing times.
Congratulations. We are thrilled to have you, and it's the representative designate. So that is, so we appreciate you coming forward. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone who submitted public comments in support of this process. Appreciate all the work that was done. So thank you.
Can I say one other thing? There are a few of you commissioners that I've met before, and we've interacted from Oregon Change Clinic and other community activities. And I would just look forward to also getting to know all of you.
That's wonderful. Yes, I know everyone is eager to get to know you. Just appreciate that you have this time to start diving into the work. So again, congratulations. Thanks everyone who participated. Thank you to the Washington County Board, the Multnomah County Board, and all our staff who made sure that this process happened today. We are excited about what the future holds for House District 33.
Yes.
So thanks everyone.
Yes.
That concludes today's meeting. There being no further business, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Hoorah.